One of my favorite keyboards from last year is back and it got an upgrade. This is the Zenblade V2 and it's packing better acoustics, custom keycaps, and even a brand new chip inside. So we're gonna take a look at everything that's changed, and by the end of this video, I'll let you know whether this should be your next Hall Effect keyboard or not. Now let's kick it off with the price. The Naomi version, which comes with the printed keycaps, will run you $250. The standard version is a little cheaper at $220. We'll circle back to whether that's worth it once we've gone through everything this board offers. Now out of the box, I love the presentation. It comes in this latched carrying case, and inside you're gonna get the keyboard, switches, a USB-C cable, and a couple of stickers. Nice little packaging here. But I gotta say, what really sets this keyboard apart from other keyboards in the Hall Effect space is that it feels like a custom keyboard straight from the manufacturer, with very little that you have to do to it to make it sound good and look good. The aluminum body is super solid, and when you pick it up, you instantly feel that weight and that quality. All the color cases are anodized, so they have that premium finish. Layout wise, it's a clean 65% board. They even updated the USB-C port so that it fits a wider variety of cables. On the back, you've got a grille design with a black weight, which looks absolutely sick. The bezel isn't crazy thin, but it's not chunky either. Kind of a middle ground that I think works well. Some people like a thinner bezel or no bezel at all. I prefer this as I'm looking for that custom look. Now this is tray mounted instead of gasket mounted. I would love to see a gasket mount here, but for a tray mount, this is as good as it gets. The typing experience isn't as bouncy as something like a Pwnage 80HE or 60HE, but it does a fairly good job of just sounding good and feeling good underneath your fingers. Now speaking of the hollowness, inside you've got a silicone and a pour-on foam for dampening the noise. This really tightens up the sound profile and it keeps it from feeling echoey or hollow. Now for the keycaps, the Naomi edition is a flashy one, purple theme, graphic printed on top, and these are double shot PBT and cherry profile. They've got a nice texture feel to them, not slippery or cheap feeling at all. And here's something cool, on the underside of the keyboard, they have little lettering that lights up once the RGB turns on. So let's talk switches. This is rocking the fan favorite, the Jade Pros. They're pre-lubed, super smooth, and have a nice, crispy, satisfying sound. Not obnoxious like clickies, but still distinct. Usually they're a little bit more high-pitched, but in this board, they're actually slightly thocky, which is pretty surprising. And since this is Hall Effect, you can adjust the actuation point from 0.1 all the way down to 3.5 millimeters. Now these are all sitting on top the new PCB with the Zenith chip. Now I know some of you guys are gonna say AK is gimmicky, but in my opinion, it's similar to like insurance, right? You pay every month for insurance for your car, yet you don't crash. It's kind of like that extra insurance, that reassurance that, hey, if something does happen, I got you. And that is what that 8K polling rate is for. It's checking that connection more times, and it's just keeping that connection solid so that you don't miss anything and you get the lowest latency possible. So you're not gonna perceive it, but it is still happening behind the scenes. Now this is also hot swappable, so you can swap out the switches in the future if you want. So if you do get bored of these Jade Pros or a new hot switch comes out, you can go ahead and throw them in here. And let me just say, the stabilizers are miles better than the V1s, which they're pretty good for a standard out of the box keyboard, but here they really nailed the stabilizers on almost everything, where it just sounds so good. Even the space bar, which is one of the hardest things to do, like, sounds really, really good. All right, so I know what you guys came here for. Let's not waste any more time. Let's drop that sound test on the new Zenblade V2, and then we'll meet back here. Now let's jump into the software. It is a web-based software, and then we'll meet back here after. All right, so coming here in the software, we have the lighting, which is really nice. You can just cycle down. They have a lot of different flavors that you can choose from. You can come over here to the actuation. Now default, it is set as this without the continuous rapid trigger. Here are my settings. I just put everything down to the lowest possible. Continuous rapid triggers enabled. The distance where it starts, I put that to 0, so it's instant. Bottom zone, I just left at 0.05. Yeah, everything is the fastest here that it can be. And then you can come here, choose what kind of switch you have as well. It can detect that. Come here and change the bindings on the different layers. You can put like your multimedia keys for those of you guys who are missing a knob. You can change the brightness of the RGB and things like that. So pretty cool stuff there. Then you have the pro settings or pro keys. So of course you got Rappy Snappy here. You can do the different presets. You can just choose A and D, and this will cut transmission of the other key once that one is pressed. So if I'm holding A and I press D, it'll automatically, I don't even have to release A, it will automatically release it once I press that D. Then you have dynamic keystroke, where you can choose 4 different actions along the distance of the switch. That's also really cool for different types of game, maybe like a RTS game or something like that. Then you have mod tap here, which you can assign 2 different actions to the key depending on how long the key is held. So that's also another option. Then if you're a coder, you can just come over here and do some macros as well and set that up. So it has everything that you would need. The software looks really nice, and best of all, it is a browser software. All right, so in the right hand corner, you'll see the shooting error. If it goes blue, it means I'm moving while shooting. So even a little bit of movement, it'll show. Now, if I'm completely still, it'll show yellow, like so. These little strafes, should be no blue, meaning you are completely accurate. Now look at that. Even when I do like a long strafe and stop, look at that, still yellow. Sometimes on other keyboards you'll get a little bit of blue still. You can see on the wall it's really accurate. So really accurate stuff. This is why the Zenblade has continuously been one of my favorite keyboards for gaming. Not only does it have the aesthetic, but it also has the performance as well. So after spending some time with the Zenblade V2, it really reminded me why this was one of my favorite keyboards from last year, and it almost makes me want to put it back on my desk, which probably it's gonna stay. The performance during gaming, the keycaps, the RGB on it, the acoustics are fantastic, feels great underneath the fingers, and overall build quality, honestly, it rivals custom boards at this price. Is it cheap? Absolutely not. $220 to $250 is not cheap at all. So if you need a little bit more, or if you're coming from the custom side of things and you're looking for a keyboard that blurs that line, the Zenblade V2 is a perfect keyboard for that. Now, I would love to see another version of this with gasket mount, especially for the price. But I think they did a really good job with the acoustics on the V2 as is. That's just gonna give us a little, bouncier of a typing experience. But hey, some people even prefer a stiffer experience, and that is what you're getting here. All right, so that's gonna do it for this review of the Zenblade V2. I hope you have enjoyed it. It has been your boy BT. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.